Hi everyone. So in this video, we'll talk about how you can extract the data from body. तो हमने लास्ट वीडियो में बात किया हाउ यू कैन एक्सट्रैक्ट डेटा फ्रॉम हेडर्स और क्वेरी पैरामीटर. तो अब इस वीडियो में हम देखते हैं कि यू आर जस्ट यूजिंग अ सिंपल बॉडी. यू आर जस्ट लाइक राइटिंग अ पोस्ट एपीआई. तो उसके जो बॉडी है पैरामीटर्स लाइक हाउ यू कैन एक्सेस द प्रॉपर्टीज फ्रॉम द रिक्वेस्ट बॉडी. You can pass the body like this, body parameters like this, but inside body you are not going to pass only just one single property, right? So uske liye what you can do is you can just simply use a DTO, or you can also access individual properties like body, name string. That means you are interested only the name being passed inside the body. And also we also need to do the validation. Validation ka matlab hai ki we need to define the class validators and all these properties, because body के अंदर you will be passing lots of data, email, UUID, number, string, boolean. So we have to validate कि whatever the data being passed from the client, is it following the proper DTO constraint or not. तो वो सब constraint हम check करते हैं. Either you can do the class validator validation, or basic you can actually use @body inside your controller to extract the data which is coming from the client inside the request body. So let's take a look on at code wise what you will do. Simply like I have this, I'm inside this user controller, app controller, and I will do post and let's say create user. And now inside create user you can define @body. So this is the decorator which we are using to access an individual property or access the data which is being passed inside a body. So here let's say I'm interested in getting each and every property which is being passed in the body. So here I want to access all the properties. So I did is record string any. That means these are like key value parameter, and I'm going to print all the data, right? Return data. So whatever you are passing in the data inside request body, we are just returning that. So instead of just returning, you can first validate and then you can return the data. So @body is not applying any validation until unless you use class validator on top of your controller. तो यहाँ पे क्लास वैलिडेटर सिंपली नहीं है, वी आर जस्ट एक्सट्रैक्टिंग द नेम. अब यहाँ पे क्या किया @body नेम. दैट मीन्स यू आर इंटरेस्टेड ओनली इन द नेम मुझे एक्सेस करना है. @body आई एम पासिंग नेम एंड नेम स्ट्रिंग console.log नेम एंड वी आर जस्ट रिटर्निंग नेम. सिमिलरली यू कैन एक्सेस मल्टीपल प्रॉपर्टीज. हो सकता है आपको नेम चाहिए, एज चाहिए, डिस्क्रिप्शन, ऑल दिस कपल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टीज. सो यू कैन रिपीट द बॉडी couple of times based on number of properties. But ideally why we don't do this? Because what happens is request body always bulky, there you contains at least 4 or 5 different properties. So instead of writing this @body 4 times, क्या कर सकते हैं हम @body, and we can just use simple object and we can access all these properties together. So here like in the post movies we are @body movie and create movie DTO. Either create movie DTO is nothing but a class. So you can create a class and you can specify what all properties you wanted to do. I mean, ideally we use DTOs to actually do the validation, and you can also use API properties so that this property will be exposed in Swagger spec. Okay, that this is the HTTP post API which requires some data in the body, and these are the properties which it is asking for from the client, like type, ratings, name, description, age, or whatever the properties which you are defining inside a request body. And now when you open your Swagger doc looks like this, because we are specifying the example values. Because when you are writing a DTO and you are using API property, so automatically this Nestjs Swagger module exposes this request body for us. So we will know that okay, this is a HTTP post, and you need to specify all those properties inside the request body, right? So here you can just use this, hit this API, and we can just access these APIs. So there are 3 different APIs: user shows, user movies, and Swagger is already integrated in all the APIs. So now we will also do the class validation, because what happens if you are not doing class validation? You might be passing any garbage. For the number you are passing string, alphanumeric, you are not passing email, you are passing number as a string, or string boolean as a string. So all these things. So when you can also do the validation, and for validation what we need to do, we need to use class validator and transformer. सबसे पहली चीज़ है. अब उसके बाद में आपको कुछ नहीं करना. You need to go to your DTO, और यहाँ पे जाके पहले कंट्रोलर के अंदर you need to add a validation pipe. ये validation pipe like there are two different of type of thing. Yeah, predefined types, predefined pipes like parse int pipe, parse float pipe, parse boolean pipe. Those can do the validation on individual properties. Now let's say I'm passing the request body post and there are 10 properties. I didn't need to run the validation, so it's better to create DTO और ये validation pipe enable कर दो controller के top में. So it start applying these rules of class validator rules on the DTO on the request body. Like मैंने इसको specify किया is number, is string, is boolean, is UUID, is defined. Now if I just do this execute, you will get a validation error. Why? Because I added a validation pipe on the controller level. That means all the API methods will start using the class validator DTO validation. और जो इसकी class बनाई है, I am just using these class validator method like min defined, is string, is boolean, is UUID, is required, is optional. All these DTO decorators you can use. So these are just different examples. Okay, sometimes you don't want to do validation, you want to get whatever is coming in the body at the read body. Sometimes you are interested only just getting a one particular property from body name. Sometimes you want to receive the properties inside request body with validation. तो उसके लिए you will be writing DTO के अंदर आप ये class validator validation supply करो जो भी provided है. So this is all about कि हम कैसे डेटा एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम रिक्वेस्ट बॉडी. अभी इसे सिंपल एक्सप्रेस में हम करते थे रिक्वेस्ट डॉट बॉडी आफ्टर इनेबल द बॉडी पार्सर इन द एक्सप्रेस Node.js ऐप. अब यहाँ पे वो सब चीज़ें नहीं है, बट स्टिल you can use this @body and extract the data coming from request body.